Welcome Scorpio to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 22nd of July for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. As last week came to a close, there may have been some highly charged conversations. The full moon in your third house of everyday thinking clashing with the Sun in the ninth house of higher truths. Perhaps you and someone have seen something very differently. And of course, at the start of last week, we had that mighty collision between Mars, your traditional ruler, and Uranus, the planet of freedom. So if it is around a relationship where you felt hemmed in, the big discussion may have occurred over the weekend preceding this particular week. So where does that leave us? Well, Mars has moved on. And at the end of last week, it's moved into the sign of Gemini, forging a very potent link with Pluto, your modern ruler. If you are wanting to transform something around a property matter, perhaps move, take out a lease, buy a property or renovate, the combination between Mars and Pluto is awesome, particularly if there are contracts or discussions to be had along those lines. But the Sun moves on Monday, later in the day, into the most glorious part of your situation in terms of raising your profile. Joins up with Venus, the planet of charm, but also Mercury, the planet of business, but also communication. So you've got three visible players there, pushing you into the limelight. If you're comfortable with that, Scorpio, this can be a time when you can really put your foot to the floor around goals and ambitions. But there is potentially a conflict because the Sun goes face to face with Pluto on Tuesday. And if you're not quite sure, you're not certain of the direction that some of your professional involvements are taking, you may find yourself questioning quite deeply what the process is about. Also, Uranus in your seventh house is clashing with Mercury in the 10th through to Thursday. There may be someone you need to work with, or you should be connecting with if you really want to go for that more ambitious route. It's not really your cup of tea, and you may find the inner rebel within you just recoiling a little bit from doing exactly what's expected of you. But if you're not a natural bohemian and you do want to make your way to the proverbial boardroom, this week is set up for you to take a giant step forwards. But even if you just want to marshal your long-term resources in a much more effective way, the link between the Sun and Mars through to Friday when it peaks can give you a tremendous amount of motivation to work on that. Also, Mercury, the planet of contracts, moves into your sector of your long-term plan on Thursday, and that can create greater clarity. But Chiron, the so-called wounded healer, does go into a retrograde in your sixth house on Friday through to the 29th of December. Now, some astrologers pin Chiron as a comet that's very much to do with health. I think it's very much to do with psychology. It's where we can actually glow up and show our natural talent, our superpower. In the sixth house, if you are someone who's very practical and super efficient, but you feel everyone around you is not, the trick here over the length of this retrograde is to work on trying to understand that not everybody will meet your standards. On the other hand, if you are a little bit untidy or disorganized, or you could tighten up a little bit in terms of the virtue around your diet and exercise, Chiron retrograde is certainly a good nudge to do that. But as the week draws to a close, the moon in your opposite sign of Taurus, where it's, to be honest, blessed, it's exalted, clashes with the Sun. Once more, there could be that someone in a position of authority that doesn't quite see things the same as you. But essentially what's happening this week, Scorpio, is you're starting to show your power and authority in a more assertive way. Some people will go with that, some people will resist it. Or it could be that you encounter someone who wants to impose their authority on you and you will resist it or go with it. So I feel that's the central theme of this week, but the energy that's created with Mars linking to Pluto and the Sun is absolutely manifest. And if you're very clear about what you want to achieve, your energy can be absolutely fantastically high to take a giant step forwards. It's been great being with you, but if you would like to have a one-to-one with me, a personal consultation, please check out my testimonials below. I don't edit these. I share them as is. Discover what other people have found working with me. If you would like to become a patron from $3 a month, I upload a lot of extra information. If you are already a Patreon, thank you so much for all your support. And if you would like to ascend beyond this zodiac forecast and embrace the power of more serious astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place, or date and place if you don't know your time, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This will give you searing insights to the patterns that have played out in your life so far, but a much more intimate understanding of how to work with those energies future forwards. In my special package of 30% off, you can also get your 12 months transits. That's the moving planets in the sky interacting with your totally unique blueprint. Also, if you know your tropical astrology, but you'd like to discover your draconic astrology based on your soul, your karmic charts, please see below for that too. The same package, it can be very, very different to your natal chart, but very much an eye-opener. Have a great week. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.